This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Descendant, a new documentary feature from director Margaret Brown. It takes place in Mobile, Alabama, more specifically on the outskirts, following the denizens of Africa Town, whose ancestry is rooted in slavery, as they are descendants of some of the last African slaves brought to America after its abolishment. The story of the ship which brought them, the Clotilda, and its destruction as a means of hiding evidence became passed down through generations, as has the history of the community as a whole. When the wreckage of the Clotilda is discovered, the opportunity arises for the town to bring new life to their stories, but it comes with further questions of reconciliation and justice, as well as how to preserve their legends and oral history. The story extends not only locally but nationally, given the significance of the find and its link to a history that has long been ignored at best and covered up at worst. This history also goes the other way, working inward towards individual stories and how they might be shared. The movie manages to balance the two very well, showing both the personal perspectives of the descendants and their concerns for the past and the present, with the historical aspect that almost threatens to eclipse them, as well as present a way for the two to coexist, to put it one way. The greater focus is on the people, of course, but the movie still manages to touch upon various other themes and topics, from the history of the area to the nature of folklore and how it is shared and preserved, and ultimately what can be done to bring about a sense of closure centuries after tragedies. It isn't going to satisfy everybody, nor does it bring closure for those more directly involved, but it still illustrates a necessary sort of progression and development, again on an individual level as much as within a greater context. It's the way in which all of these stories are connected, directly or not, which give the movie its greater narrative structure, building upon a central backbone of the Clotilda's discovery while branching out to explore the intricacies of the impact and the long-term effects of its history. I might be talking a bit in circles here, given how much of the movie is dedicated to expanding on the many smaller stories, but it really is the major takeaway from this all, that a person's history, or a community's folklore, doesn't necessarily end when a larger story or historical context comes to light. On the technical end of the production, there's a good amount of time dedicated to the visual makeup of the film. At times it's entirely natural, capturing events as they're happening, but in a few scenes the visuals take on a more ethereal and ghostly tone, often in tandem with a person reflecting upon their past. Cinematography also begins to float more steadily in these moments, compared to a handheld approach found in other scenes, and color design becomes a bit more muted and uniform in these reflective segments, while other scenes are more natural in their palettes. Overall, it's what you might expect from a documentary like this, filmed in the moment and more concerned with capturing events than presenting them in a stylized manner. But it's within these quieter moments that the movie has a chance to sit back and explore its thematic ideas, much in the same way that the characters will sit down and think on the greater framing of their lives. Most of all, it's a visual means of bringing the past back to life in one way, or even illustrating the uncertainty of the future. Whatever the case, this all still comes together in a well-structured manner, covering several years of events in a good amount of time, while still being able to bring out the bigger picture, and again, not only in a historical context, but in a personal sense as well. Descendant, Margaret Brown, 2022. 4 stars. I definitely recommend seeing it. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Yeah, there's not much else I can think to add. Then again, I don't feel like I said much in the first place. The movie is just so dense with stories that it's not as easy to focus on one sort of topic, you know?